Check it out. It do look frozen, but I think it's gonna move. Yeah. There you go. Yep. Alright, we in there. Cool. First of all, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem Rachab Kodash. You know, double honor to our apostles and elders, the great millstone. Shalom to the elect. All right, that's teaching the word in truth and in sincerity. You know, you got your, brothers and sisters that are out there that are following and supporting the ministry as well. You know, which are the helps. Okay, that are basically they're Israelites anyway. All right, they're the real Israelites. And we're coming at you with this video where basically, you know, you got the whole world minds distorted by who the real Israelites are, right? The people over there in the Middle East, all right, which are calling themselves Israelis, they're not the real Jews, okay? First and foremost, they're not the real Jews, okay? They're imposters. When you go into the scriptures, there's a nation, and it's called Esau, okay? Now Esau, I believe, I think it's his grandson, all right, which is basically, it's called first of the nations, will be the top nation on earth, you know, basically ruling, okay? And that his name is Amalek, okay? And that's where you get the so-called Jews today from, all right? A nation called Amalek, and it's all through prophecy, okay? Why? Because let's go to that. Numbers, you got it?
You want the numbers?
Yeah, you got Genesis 36. Yep, bring that up.
All right, so this is Genesis 36. I'm going to start at 1. It says, now these are the generations of Esau, who was Edom. Now I'm jumping down to verse 8. It says, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom, and these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adah, Adah, the wife of Esau; Ruel, the son of Bashemath, the wife of Esau. And the sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, and Gatem, and Kenaz. And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. It says, these were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife.
Exactly. Now, from there to Numbers 24 and 20. Exactly. So there's a man here. His name is Amalek. Okay. Mind you, this is all through the spirit. It's all through belief. It's all through, you know, decodifying the scriptures. Okay, because the scriptures are written in the code. It's written for the elect of the nation of Israel to break down into bite-sized pieces, if you will, so everyone else can understand how you can identify today. Okay, so I'll bring that out.
Okay, this is Numbers 24 and 20. It says, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever.
Yeah, but his latter end is that he shall perish forever. Okay, it should be more.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, it says that was it.
Okay, what is it?
It says, and he looked on the Kenites and took up his parable and said, strong is thy dwelling place, and thou puttest thy nest in a rock.
I'm sorry, my bad. I started 17.
Oh, 17. Okay, yeah, this is Numbers 20, verse 17.
24.
Numbers 24, verse 17, it says, I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, and a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab, and destroy all the children of Seth.
Right, Sheth. Which is this is basically a prophecy about the Lord, the one whom you ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Okay? Now we're gonna mention him as well, and why I titled the video that everyone is gonna see that the state of Israel was going to be nuked, man. All right, and we're looking forward to that too, man, because you basically robbed us of our nationality. Okay, and you're telling the whole world that you're us, and then you have the whole earth in an uproar, and the whole earth is in turmoil. The water's damaged, the air is damaged, the food is damaged. Nothing is good here, man. All right, the scripture says that. You know, let me get this real quick. This is Proverbs. All right, Proverbs chapter 29, verse 1. I'm sorry, verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And that's plain right there, man. The whole earth is in mourning right now. Why? Because the people that are in rule, okay, the people that are governing the center of the earth are the wicked, man. All right, without a shadow of a doubt. And you bugged out Christians, man. You know, you helped inspire this video, okay? You helped inspire this whole lesson today, man, because you believe that those people over there in the Middle East are the real Jews, are the children of Israel. Those are the ugliest people on earth, man. One of them, okay? They have no flavor, no salt. They bring nothing to the table but wickedness. All right, but yet and still you believe that these are God's chosen people. All right, now the scriptures tell you that when God's chosen people come into the land, let's get there. Isaiah the 2nd chapter. When the Most High's chosen people come into the land, what is supposed to happen? Peace is supposed to be on the earth. All right, the scripture that there will be no more war, man. Okay, so everything the so-called Jews over there in the Middle East are contrary to everything what the scriptures say. All right, you got that?
Yeah, this is Isaiah 2:1. It says, the word that Isaiah the son of Amos saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
Right, the mountains represents different nations. All right, how do you prove that? That scripture right there. So the mountains of the Lord's house shall be on top of the mountains. All right, so where you see mountains on top of other mountains, it's not talking about that. All right, just like when you go into the scriptures, all right, when you go into the scriptures, you see you have different mountains for different nations. All right, and typically those mountains will be where the top, how would you say, the top officials of that nation will go to the top of those mountains and speak to the people.
Like a summit?
Yeah, well, yeah, a summit is the top of the mountain. And that comes from when in the ancient world, just like when you have in Moses would go to the top of the mountain and sacrifice a lamb and sprinkle the blood over the rest of the people. Okay? So the top of the mountains are the significance of the leaders. Okay? So the scripture says the Lord's mountain, okay, which is essentially the elect, is going to be above all the other mountains, which are all the other nations that are in rulership. Does not the scripture say that the gate shall be open continuously? Who's going to be receiving the goods that come through the gate? The elect. Okay, the mountain of Israel. Okay? Okay, keep going.
Yeah, Con, it says, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
Let me say this too. Now, when the Lord comes back, the one whom you ignorantly call Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai in the Hebrew, all right, when he comes back, what did it say that was going to happen? He is going to have many crowns upon his head. Why? Because, again, the mountain of Israel is going to be above all the other nations' mountains, man. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, it says, and many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion,
right, under the guise of the so-called Jews, everyone believes that the laws is done away with. Okay, that's people's inclination in their mind. The Christians that actually follow you, that say that these are the chosen people. Why are these people not telling you that the law, statutes, and commandments are not done away with? We're the only ones telling you that out of everyone on the earth. Okay, so that eliminates them right there. That's another strike to show you that they're not the children of the Most High. On top of that, what? Their color, their pigmentation. When you look at the region of where Israel is, Okay? First of all, it's a part of the continent of Africa. It's attached to the continent of Africa because the people that dwelt there prior were from the nation of Ham. They were Canaanites, which were Hamites. And then above them, what did you have? You had the Babylonians, okay, which were what? Hamites, which were who? Are dark-skinned people. Okay? When you look to the further east of Israel, we have like Saudi Arabia, Iran, okay? Do you have what color are the people that dwell in that region? Are dark-skinned people. Below Israel, the rest of Ham, dark-skinned people. When you go further north, dark-skinned people. But out of nowhere, here come these pale-faced people.
Yeah, yeah.
That's true. That's the picture of white supremacy, man.
Yeah, yeah. And then
okay.
How did they get that land?
Yeah.
The Balfour Declaration.
Yeah, go into it. Yeah.
When the Balfour Declaration took place in the late 1918 to about 1918, around that time period, which it was a deal to get the land of Israel, the land of Palestine. Martin, today they fighting over that land, man. So that land was gotten off of an act of treachery.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Or for wicked decree.
Yeah.
You know, the scripture says that. Woe unto you that decree unrighteous decrees. Now, woe means destruction. Okay? Now, what is that destruction? Go from there to from Matthew. Matter of fact, get what you get. I'll get the scripture and break it down. This is Matthew chapter 12. All right? Matthew chapter 12, verse 49. And it reads, I'll start at verse 46. While he yet talked to the people, this is talking about the one whom the world calls Jesus, Yahweh Shai. Behold, his mother and his brethren. No, I got the wrong scripture. What is it? Luke 12 and 49. Sorry. My bad. This is Luke chapter 12. Okay. That's right. I'll just get to the point. It says, Luke 12 and 49. I am come to send fire. This is the Lord speaking, Yahweh Shai. Red letter. I am come to send fire on the earth. And what will I, if it already be kindled? If it be already kindled. Right? Because he said, I set fire on the earth, right? Which is talking about the entire earth. But mainly, where is he at? He's in Israel. Okay? And he said, what would I if it already be kindled? Meaning what? That the earth is already going to be on fire. Okay? And if you know the prophecies, you understand what's going on, okay? These other nations, they're turning in their investments. They're not investing into agriculture anymore. Their crops. First of all, the so-called white man, beginning with the so-called Jews, which are really the Rothschilds, you know, these elite banking families, you know, the Bilderberg, if you will, the Oppenheimers, okay? That's a so-called Jew name, man. That's a German, what do you call it? Sephardic Jew, no, not Sephardic, what's the other one? No, Ashkenazi Jew, man. An Ashkenazi Jew name, man. Or Sephardic Jew name, Oppenheimer. Yeah. You know? They always got names like that, man. And these are the people that are controlling the funds of the world, man. Okay? So, by that, the Lord is going to help hold you accountable. Okay? So he said, what would I? He said, he's coming to send fire, but what would I if it already be kindled? Now, these other nations, they're being oppressed by you Oppenheimers and you Rothschilds. And the poppy fields are getting looted. Okay? And whatever other resources that those other nations that surround Israel are getting, they're basically getting robbed of this, of their crops, yeah, of their resources. So they realizing, look, the money that we retain, there's no point of putting it into the resources that we had, or that are being occupied by America, which are nothing but the gun of the Rothschilds. Okay, so they saying, look, in order for us to actually have our resources, okay, what do we have to do? We have to invest into the gun and invest into weaponry. Okay? And that's when you go back, real quick, you still got Isaiah 2?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, go back to Isaiah 2. Okay?
This is Isaiah 2. This is Isaiah 2 and 1. It says, and it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
Right, keep going.
It says, and many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion,
right, that's talking about the law, statutes, and commandments, which incorporates the new covenant. The new covenant, it has the law, statutes, and commandments incorporated in it, if you will. Why? Because the scripture says in Hebrews 8 and 8 that what? The law is going to be written in our inward parts. Right? So by that, it's going to be taught to the other nations. That's why the scripture says in Hebrews 8, it says what? They shall no longer teach their neighbor. So who's going to get taught? What's the point of having the law, statutes, and commandments? What's the point of having any law and authority to lay it down, man? All right, continue on.
Yeah, back in Isaiah, it says, we will. It says, we'll start at 3 again. It says, and many people shall go and say, come ye and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
Yeah, right. And again, that's not going on. All right? And you can't be in that land without teaching the law, statutes, and commandments. And we're going to get into that as well. And we're going to see the results of not keeping the law, statutes, and commandments where the Most High eyes is resting. That's in Deuteronomy. The Most High eyes is always on Israel. So if you're in there doing all kind of manner of foulness and wickedness, okay, this is going to be a great judgment for you, man.
Yeah.
Okay, just like those Ethiopians that came up in there and they weren't being taught the law. All right, they didn't keep the law. And what happened? The scripture said that beasts came out the field, lions, and devoured them, man. Now, that's just the Ethiopians. Now, we're talking about Esau, who the Most High hates, who he has sworn hatred against from generation to generation, as we read in Numbers, the 24th chapter. So what do you think is going to happen, man? All right, keep going.
Yeah, verse 4 says, and he shall judge among the nations and shall rebuke many people.
See, go ahead.
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares,
right,
and their spears into pruning hooks.
Right, because it's actually vice versa, or vice versa, if you will, right now. The people are taking their plowshares and beating them into pruning hooks. The scripture says after they get rebuked, they're going to turn back into investing into those crops. Why? Because they're going to have to pay up, essentially. That's why. Okay, keep going.
It says, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
Right, and there's war all throughout the nations right now, man. All the nations are gearing up for war, which is completely opposite, okay, to what the scripture says that's supposed to happen when the children of Israel get back in their land. All right, when the children of Israel and the earth go hand in hand. So when the children of Israel are in their proper land and doing the right thing, the earth reacts differently. All right? The earth reacts differently. The other nations react differently. Okay? Just like it said in Proverbs, the 29th chapter. It said what? That when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. See? Why? Because they're going to be able to settle in their crops again, man. They're going to be able to reap the benefits that they were supposed to get. Okay?
This is Micah 4:1. It says, but in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the Lord, the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. And many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the power of Jacob.
So Isaiah seen the same thing that Micah seen.
Yeah.
Micah seen the same thing Isaiah seen. Matter of fact, real quick, get Micah 1:1. See what? Just tell me what it says.
This is Micah 1:1.
Yeah.
Yeah, Micah 1:1. It says the word of the Lord that came to Micah the Morishite in the days of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, king of Judah.
Okay. So
which he saw concerning Samaria and Jerusalem.
Yeah, which that's I believe. Because Isaiah fed Hezekiah the figs, so that's they're the same time frame. Yeah, it's the same time frame. Okay, so they seen it at the same time and the same, they seen the same vision. They spoke the same thing. All right. Now the scripture says if you can't hear the prophets and you can't hear the Lord, then there's no way you can hear Yahweh Shai. So we telling you what the prophet said. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 3. it says, and he shall judge among many people and rebuke strong nations afar off. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
That's right. Neither shall they learn war anymore.
So like the brother said, in the contrary, these nations are preparing for war. So if this prophecy, if the so-called Jews were the real Jews, this prophecy would be fulfilled already. Hell, it would have been fulfilled back in the 1940s, because that's when y'all established the state of Israel, man.
Right.
In the late 1940s. I got a quick, some quick information on the Balfour Declaration. Now, the only reason why the state of Israel is able to stand is because you're backed by so-called imperial forces, which are financed by the Rothschilds and these different international banking conglomerates.
Right.
Which is through fraud, man.
Right, and that proves that the world believes that the Most High is white, if you will. Mm-hmm. That the God of this world is the God, if you will. Why do I say that? Because the reason why Israel will win wars in the ancient world is because the man of the Lord would, you know, basically pray unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, and then the Most High would do his thing. Mm-hmm. He would rain thunders and lightnings, things of that nature. You know, it would be something miraculous to show that it's not of man. Mm-hmm. So that eliminates them right there as well, to show that they're the Jews. Yeah. That show that they're the Israelites. Because the Most High, when the Most High fights for Israel, the whole world knows it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's something miraculous. It's not just swords and shields and things of that nature. Yeah. You know?
And then the Lord does it with a small number of men too.
Yeah, with a remnant. Yeah, that's right.
Small number. All right, so it says the Balfour Declaration. The Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government during World War I, announcing support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine.
In Palestine. Yep. While those Arabs, look, the Arabs, you don't belong in there neither. Yeah. All right, when you go to get down to the nitty gritty of it. All right, you possessed that land and overthrew us circa 600, 700 AD. Okay, by the name of a man, his name was Salah ad-Din, and the Sacrians. You know, put that in right quick if you can. Sacreans. Sacreans, I believe it should show up.
You said Sacrians?
Yeah. You know, that was basically their military might. It was a man named Salah ad-Din. What you got? What does it say?
It says Sacrians. Sacrians was a term widely used among Christian writers in Europe during the Middle Ages. The term meaning evolving during its history.
Right.
It says in the early centuries of the Common Era, Greek and Latin writings used this term to refer to people who lived in the desert areas in and near the Roman province of Arabia. Right,
the Arabians. Right, exactly. It was the Arabians, which are basically Ishmaelites, man, when you go into it. All right? Now, those people, they overthrew our people. You know, our people actually submitted to their ass because they was getting their ass whooped, you know. And then later on, they established that as their own land. Okay? Now, they're not keeping the law, statute, commandments in there. And by the way, a lot of these people are calling themselves Philistines. All right, when you go into it, the word Philistine is Greek for I said it. Palestine. They call themselves Palestinians, which is basically a Greek word for the Philistines, man, or Philistia. When you go into Genesis, the 10th chapter, so it's not them neither. Okay, they don't belong in the land neither because they themselves are calling themselves by another nation. They're not the Philistines. Mm-hmm. They're not the ancient Egyptians. Even if they're calling themselves the ancient Egyptians as well, man. But so by that right there, we're able to identify all these other nations. Why? Because the scripture talked about what? It said that you are the covering cast over all nations. Talking about you so-called white people, man. All right? Why? Because all the other nations are calling themselves other than who they are, man. And basically they're calling themselves Greek names. Just like the Syrians. The name Syria is not in the table of nations. The name Syria comes from the Arameans, man. The nation of Aram. Okay? There's plenty of other names over there, man. I can't think of them off top. Oh, Libya. Libya is Greek. Okay? all those nations are turned into Greek names, man. And then you got these Arabs and these Greeks that are dwelt in the midst of this and then renamed it and called themselves after that, man. A lot of you so-called Arabs is Edomites, man. A lot of you so-called Arabs are fucking the people who call themselves Arab. They're really Amalekites. Yeah, yeah. What's the guy's name, man? Assad. Assad, that's an Amalekite, man. Yeah. That's why Syria gonna get nuked too, man.
Yeah, a lot of those Saudi
princes, yeah.
Nothing but Amalekites, man.
Right. I remember the brother from Hawaii. If he's tuning in, shalom to that brother right there. He remember he did a video. I remember he called in the brothers in Dallas, and he basically broke down how the superiors of Hawaii are basically Edomites.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And well, that's what Esau does. Esau puts a lot of mixed Edom. Well, we know it's nothing called mixed breeds, but a lot of Edomites. Their fathers go back to Esau in high positions. They did that in Mexico. They do that a lot in South America. And over there in the Middle East, they do that. A lot of heads of state are actually Edomites, posing as the people of the nation that they're ruling over, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
That's what they do, man.
Yeah,
that's how they consolidate power, man.
Exactly. Now, what's going on, basically, is that they're all in there, and everybody, they're fighting. The whole world believes there's a fight over two people that don't belong in the land. Yeah. And what do you think the Most High is going to do? He gonna clean all you up out of there, man. Yeah. All right? Let me read this real quick. This is 2 Kings chapter 17, verse 24. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, from Kutha, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Seth Arvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria, instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria, and dwelt in the cities thereof. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there, that they feared not the Lord. Okay, therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Okay, that was really the Most High having mercy on them dudes, man. Why? To fulfill the prophecies that had to come down later. Okay, it says, wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. All right, and we seeing that now. You got Pink City, Tel Aviv. You got women over men over there. You got Moabites calling themselves Israelites over in the land of Israel. They calling them the tribe of Manasseh and all that, man. While you stupid niggas that went over there, you know, well, some of you are maybe of the elect, all right, because the scripture says that out of every nation, every tongue, and every kindred, the elect is going to come out of, man. So you probably do got some of them people that went over there with Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, and all that are going to be of the elect, because you got people that are born there, they don't know no better. All right, so you got a mixed multitude of filth going on in the land of Israel, where the scripture says that the eyes of find that real quick, God, where the eyes of the Lord is, man. The scripture says the eyes of the Lord are continuously. You know, if you put that in there, man, you know, the eyes of the Lord are continuously on Israel, man. All right, so the Most High is looking right now at a bunch of filth, and He's going to do away with it, man. Okay, and look, man, the main thing is to all you other nations, all you other people that believe in Jesus and the Christian philosophy. You Hamas, right? Ain't that the name of the coalition over there?
Yeah, that's Hamas, Palestinians.
Yeah, the Palestinians.
Hamas, yeah, Hezbollah.
That's the other one I wanted to talk about.
Lebanon.
All of them. All you want to realize that you're not the children of the Most High, man. You Jordeans, because contrary to popular belief, that's another thing that shows that they're not the children of Israel. Because when you look at the landmass that was promised unto Abraham, it goes from it said from Euphrates, which is all the way up, you know, going towards Syria, all the way down to, it said the river of Egypt, which is basically the Nile River. Okay, where Jordan is, where the country that they established is called Jordan. That's basically the lot of Reuben when you go into it, man. Okay, Madaba, if you will. All right,
and that's what Esau is trying to establish through all his proxy wars and his fake wars, man.
Right. Yes,
so you're going about it treacherously to try to establish the original borders of Israel to fulfill prophecy, and you stepping on these other nations' toes that don't even really belong in the land. which is creating controversy that the Lord is stirring up. At the end of the day, these nations are going to find out that the Lord has been using them as a tool to have Israel destroyed and put his true people into that land, man.
Right, that's right, that's right. Let me read this real quick now that you said that. This is Matthew chapter 19, okay, in verse 30. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. And we read earlier who's the first. And the first is Amalek, man. He's the first of the nations. And who's the last? The last is Israel, the last nation to come upon the earth. You had all the other nations come on earth. Then you had Abraham, Isaac, and then Esau. And then the last nation to come on the earth was Jacob, man. Okay, the scripture says that what in second Ezra 6 and 7. Matter of fact, let me just get it real quick, you know, because there's a reason why the angel of the Lord came and told and broke down what he was saying, man. About let me just get it. This is second Ezra chapter 6. I'm gonna start at verse 7. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times, or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? See, the end of the first. Who's the first? Amalek, man. You so-called Jews, man. Okay? When you go into the word elites, okay, the word elite basically just means the first. All right? So when you mention the elites, you're talking about Amalek, man. Okay? It says, then answered I and said, what shall be the parting of the sender of times, or when shall the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, this is talking about the angel, from Abraham unto Isaac, and when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob hand held first the heel of Esau. Why? Because there was a fight in the womb, and we was whooping, and Jacob was whooping, and he was putting the beats to Esau's ass, man, if you will, okay? And he was trying to flee, just like now, man. Okay? When them so-called Jews come up, we be like, look, you ain't the children of Israel, you Bun Shatan, you know, Ben Isu. They fly, they take flight when we try to bring the judgment on their ass, man. Okay? It says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth, man. It said the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand, right? Other question Ezra asked thou not. Why? Because he looked at it, he's like, oh, this all makes sense. And he pondered on it, man. Just like us now, we're getting back what Ezra's asked for, man. Okay? So, and that's essentially the point, man, right there, man, that we know what's going to happen to the land of Israel. The whole world is looking at the land of Israel and this whole move that Donald Trump made, you know, with establishing Jerusalem as the capital, which it was already the capital. Yeah. It shouldn't be no uproar.
And putting the embassy.
And putting the embassy there. Yeah. Now that's going to be like a hedge front, if you will.
Yeah.
So when the whole world gets at Israel and America, they're gonna be like, look, look, they're all hated for this. They're all hated for this, and that's gonna fit the prophecies of these Christians. And they're gonna be like, look, oh my God, look, it's gonna happen. And they see America's big bad power structure is supposed to come to the rescue, right? And it's supposed to save the world, so to speak.
Yeah.
But little do they know, America's gonna be destroyed, and Israel, man. Those places are going to be wiped off the face of the earth. And man, I can't wait, because that's a humongous stronghold on our people, man. But by the thing about it is, it's going to be too fucking late, man. The scripture says, then shall they know that a prophet has been among them, man. When all the prophecies come to pass. All right? By then, it's going to be too late. It's going to be the famine of the word. Sudden destruction, that's when the deliverance happens, man. Okay? So it's going to look like America is winning, you know. It's going to look like America's saving Israel, you know. Probably bomb Syria, bomb Libya, just going to massacre throughout the Middle East and the rest of the world. And it's going to look like America's winning. And then all of a sudden, boom, somebody going, Iran probably, or Russia going, or probably it's more than likely going to be Iran, all right, to what, do what? Wipe Israel off the face of the earth, man. And people are going to see it. And then what? And then who you going to, and then what philosophy are you going to lean on, man?
Yeah.
You know?
Nothing left, man. Everything you put on the table is going to be gone.
Yeah, man.
It's like you put your chips all in one roll of the dice and you lost it all, man.
Yeah, we're expecting destruction.
Yeah.
All right, so we can't lose. You know.
Yeah. This is real quick. This is the scripture you asked me for. Deuteronomy 11:12. It says. Let me start at 11. It says, Deuteronomy 11:11 says, "But the land whither ye go to possess it, it is a land of hills and valleys, and drinketh water of the rain of heaven, a land which the Lord thy power cared for. The eyes of the Lord thy power are always upon it."
That was the worst move that they could ever make, man, was actually settling these stupid ass over in the land of Israel. You should have stayed your ass in fucking Germany. You think that fire was hot if you actually got burnt. All right? The fire that the Most High coming with is going to make that look like a fucking a bonfire, man.
Yeah, until you talking about the real Holocaust, that's going to be a Holocaust.
They always want to complain about getting burnt, right?
Yeah,
you always want to complain about, oh my God, my people, we got
the fiery oven.
The fiery oven?
Yep.
Oh, let's get that. Oh, you got it, brother. I get it.
Yeah, it kind of says, a land which the Lord thy power cared for. The eyes of the Lord thy power are always upon it, from the beginning of the year even unto the end of the year.
Yeah, the Most High don't take his eyes off the land of Israel.
Yeah.
And you got some nerve at putting faggots and lesbians and dykes and bringing legislations and summits and all other nations, and they doing all their wickedness. Them Arabs, they into popping animals, man. All right? You think they're not doing that over there?
Yep.
You tripping, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Lord see all of that, man.
Yeah.
This is going to be a great, hefty judgment that you got.
That's right.
That you got to deal with, man. You know?
Yeah, it's a tab you got to pay, man.
Yep, but the thing about it is the Most High's movie. He's doing a build-up. He got you thinking that you're winning, man, when you're going to lose, man.
Yeah. The scripture said that in Psalms 10. You know, it said you're going to be thrown in the pit that you have digged, man.
Yeah.
You know? Let me read this. This is Malachi 4:1. "For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud," who's the pride, man? Who's the proud on earth? Okay? It's you so-called Jews, man. Amalek, man. All right? You're the proud. You're the pomp of the earth, man. Going back to Alexander, man. Alexander wanted to conquer the whole known world. And when you go into it, all right, I forget the breakdown. I got to go back into it myself. I know you go into the Apocrypha and everything, and it shows you that the Macedonians, basically, which Alexander was a so-called Jew, which is he was an Amalekite, man. Philip was an Amalekite, man. All right, inevitably, you know, by rule, that makes Alexander a Amalekite. What was he known for? Trying to conquer the whole known world, man. Okay, so it's the same people, man. Trying to do the very same thing. Okay, it says, "All the proud, all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day shall come, the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts. That it shall leave them neither root nor branch." Look, man, when this deal goes down, okay, there ain't gonna be no reset button, man. We're Amalek, you know, we went down, we gonna come back up. The scriptures tell you that, man. All right, and Malachi the first chapter. Yeah, Malachi the first chapter, man. Where it says what? Let me read it real quick. It says, and 1 and 3, "And I hated Esau and laid his mountains waste and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness." Right, because it's going to be turned into a desert. "Wherefore Edom said, we are impoverished, we will return and build the desolate places." And that happened already, man. Okay, you're not building up up no more, Amalek. All right, your party is over, man. Your parade is finished, man. Okay.
Got a precept. This is Jeremiah 49 verse 20. It says, "Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman." We went into Teman in Genesis 36.
Yeah.
Represents you Edomites. Another son of Esau, man.
That's right.
It says, "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out." And the scriptures refer to Amalek as the least of the flock. You know, the first of the nations, but the least of the flock.
Yeah.
It says, "Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them." So all you Edomites, you so-called white people in the Americas, the least of the flock, which is Amalek, the so-called Jews, is going to lead you into something that is going to lead your land to be desolate, man.
Yeah.
They always talk about how United States foreign policy is Israel's foreign policy, man.
Right.
Which I say on the streets all the time, American foreign policy, which is Israel's foreign policy, is going to lead to the destruction of America.
That's right.
It's going to lead to the death of millions of American citizens, man.
That's right. Mainly because you touched the apple of the Lord's eye. Man. Yeah. Amalek was the nation that basically funded the slave trade, man. Okay? Now, that inevitably, matter of fact, go to real quick, Psalms 83.
Yeah, I got you.
You know? Psalms 83, just read the top, all right? Because it shows its separation, man. And this is further proof that Amalek is playing a major part on earth. Okay?
Psalm 83, it says, keep not thou silence, O power, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. Right,
they have lifted up the head. A tumult is what? That's basically a council, a reckless ass council, man. Okay, go ahead.
It says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Yeah, when you mention Israel, people think of a place.
Yeah.
Now, the scripture said they cut them off from being a nation, basically cut them off from being a people. Oh, we back on, I think. Yep, Shalom. Shalom, brother. Shalom. We back on now. Okay. Brother saying we on. Refreshing them now, I think, so you can see it.
All right.
Yeah, Salakia for the technical difficulties. You know, I'm just gonna continue on, and then yeah, we're just gonna continue on real quick. Bring out a couple more scriptures, you know, and then that be that, you know. Again, Salakia for the technical difficulties. You know what we were talking about? I got a scripture though.
Yeah, we was on Psalm 83.
Yeah, okay, just read it again.
Yeah, this is quickly. This is Psalm 83:1. It says, keep not thou silence, O power, Yahweh, Bashim Yahushua. Hold not thy peace, and be still, O power. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Yeah, because Amalek, man, look, you got the children of the Most High, and you got the children of Satan, man. All right, and that's who Amalek is. That's what you people gonna find out, that the so-called Jews are really the children of. They're not the children of God. They're the children of Satan, man. The devil, man. The spiritual demon Satan, man. And that's when they take their crafty counsel. They consult with Satan, man. All right, go ahead.
It says, they have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Yep.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right.
For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab and of the Hagarenes, Gable.
Hold up. Go to the nations again. Read them again.
Verse 6, it says, the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites.
Right.
Of Moab and the Hagarenes.
Right.
Gable, and Ammon, and Amalek.
See? Why did it say Esau and it mentioned Amalek? Because Amalek plays a major part in this thing, man. All right, we already read that Esau and Amalek is the same people. Why did it mention twice? Because it shows the significance. Okay? Now, I'm going to read this real quick because that was a list of some of our enemies, and the main thing we want to harp on right now is Amalek, man. That's who we harping on right now. We're harping on Amalek. Okay, because they're the ones that got the whole world in an uproar of confusion. Okay, now this is what the scripture says, man, because those are our enemies, all right? This is Psalms 21. Psalms 21 and 8. Thy hand shall find out all thine enemies. Thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee. This is talking about Yahushua. Going back to the scripture I read from the beginning, Luke 12 and 49. I come to set fire on earth, and what would I if it be already kindled? Okay? So, and the right hand is who? Is Yahushua. Because he sits on the right hand of the Lord. He's the power. He's the way to show, he's the way the Lord Yahweh shows his power. Okay? Verse 9. thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. The Lord shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. Point blank, period, man. Okay? The whole world's... Oh, it's resumed now. Okay, cool. You know? And basically, that's what's going down, man. All right? That's what's actually taking place, man. The redemption of the children of Israel, man. And the whole world's going to see it. And it's going to start with the focal point, the head of the beast, if you will. You know, the head of the monster of the earth, which is Amalek. Okay? Bring out a couple more.
Yeah, quick one. This is Deuteronomy 25:17. It says, remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way when ye were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and ye feared not the Most High.
Right, exactly. That's talking about we was cutting through the land of in the wilderness, trying to get to our land peaceably. And he said he cut off the hinder part. He did some bitch shit and basically caught our children and our cattle and our women, you know, off guard, if you will, man. All right? And that's why when you fast forward, you know, real quick, go to 1 Samuel, I think it's the 15th chapter. All right?
This is 1 Samuel 15:1. It says, Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be the king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite.
That's basically what you just read.
Yeah.
Now this is Samuel. Fast forward, I forget how many years we did the math before. I think this is like 300, 400. This is like 400 years later. Now the Most High is telling Samuel to tell Saul to go smite Amalek for what they did 400 years ago. Okay,
Yeah.
so how much more now, when you're the one aborting the babies, harvesting our organs, setting up these wicked decrees? You're the one that funded slavery, man. Okay? You got the whole world looking at us like the scum. Okay? So how much more now, man? So if he told Samuel to tell Saul to do that back then for 400 years later, how much more now, man? Okay? Because you exceed the wickedness that you have done now far exceeds that wickedness that you did going from us cutting through the land of Egypt. All right? Going through the wilderness to go to our land. All right? So you got a heavy tab to pay, Amalek. And all you people that, the scripture says, do hand join in hand, the wicked shall not go unpunished. So you got our people that love Amalek, man. And the Most High is going to cook that place, man, to show you that they're not the children of Israel. They're not the children of the Lord. Okay?
Verse 3 says, now go and smite Amalek and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and woman and infant.
And the tab actually gets higher, because look at what Haman did, man. In which I try to do that video again. I try to tell I say this to brothers that are watching, you know, watch the video. Well, not watch. I tried to upload a video where they basically expose that Amalek, which is Haman, is the so-called Jews today. I still got it, but they won't let me upload the shit. You know?
That's the one they put on South Park?
Yeah, on South Park, the water. I meant to say that.
They revealed that in South Park?
Yeah.
Haman was really a Jew?
Well, what they said in the show is that it says the one kid he's praying unto Haman to come back and take over the Jews.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know, he said because he's like, look, you'll see that Haman is going to rule, and he's talking about the anti-Semitics, and you got to just watch it, man. And it's basically subliminally they're telling you that Haman is a so-called Jew.
Yeah.
Is a Amalekite, man. You know, because that's who Haman is. He's an Agagite. It says Haman the Agagite. When you go into Agag or Agagites, it's basically another title for Pharaoh. Like how you say Pharaoh, But the pharaoh had, the different pharaohs had different names, like different Xerxes, you know, which is basically a title. Go ahead.
I got it right here. When you read verse 8 of First Samuel
15.
Yeah, 15. It says, and he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and utterly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword.
Right, and that's prior to the Persian captivity with Esther, Purim, which we're coming up in that time. Shit fucking up, man. See, talk about these motherfuckers, man.
It's still going right here, but I don't know about this one.
Well, that's the actual thing that, you know, people are watching, right?
Yeah, but I'm watching it too, right here.
Yeah, so I guess we good, man. It's saying that the internet, the streamer stopped streaming, but it looks like we good on my end, you know? But all in all, man, Lord's will is still going through, you know? So, hey, man, it is what it is, man. You know, Esau's going down. You can't stop this word from going out, and that's what's going to cook you, man.
Yeah.
You know, these words that we bringing forth.
Yeah, they're cooking. Yeah, the words is cooking.
Yeah, the words is cooking. Then you
actually going to get cooked.
And you going to get cooked,
yeah,
man.
That's right, man.
You know? We'll close it up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, his brother said it's all good.
Yeah, I see, brothers. Hey, shalom to y'all brothers that's tuning in, man. Yeah, but when y'all get a chance, like I said, man, watch that. Go type in South Park and put in like Haman. It might show up. I don't know. Put like South Park and so-called Jews, or put Jewish in South Park. It might show up. You know, and they show you in the episode that, you know, that they basically exposing that Amalekites, all right, are the so-called Jews today, man, which is Haman, man. Just like I was saying earlier, you had Haman the Agagite, which that's what I wanted to say. Because you got Esther, the time of Esther, the book of Esther and Purim, which we're coming up on that. So don't be surprised if something major occurs in the near couple days, you know, next month. Because remember, 2010 when we set up the curses, right? What happened shortly after that? Haiti. Haiti got shaken up, literally. All right. So, brothers, set up your curses, you know, because what? We're coming in the time Purim is coming up, you know, which represents what? The downfall of Haman, downfall of Amalek trying to defeat Israel, man. And we got a lot of big things happening in the land of Israel with the so-called Jews, with the Palestinians and everything. So don't be surprised if something major happens, man, in that time frame, man.
I got a quick precept for you.
Yep, we're going to close on this.
Yeah, this is Deuteronomy 33 and 29. It says, happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee. Talking about us.
Yep.
It says, O people saved by the Lord, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellence? Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is the sword of our excellence.
Right. Not our own military. The scriptures say, not by power, not by might, but by thy spirit, thus saith Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Bashim Rachah Kodash, man. So that, again, no way it could be the children. The scripture says, he that liveth by the sword shall die by the sword.
Yeah.
These people are living by the sword, man. Okay? Therefore, they're going to die by the modern day sword.
That's why they need nuclear missiles over there in the Middle East, and they're scared of Iran getting nuclear weapons.
Exactly.
If you shall just pray towards
to your God.
Yeah, pray to your God, and you know the Lord will take care of it.
Yeah.
As a people.
That's right. Exactly, man. You know, but with that, we're going to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh Shai, Bashim, Rachah Kodash, you know, and double honor to our apostles and elders, a great millstone. You know, until the next episode, you know, shalom to the elect, man.
Shalom.
Tam Yai. Shalom.